Hello, this is Mark Smith with Family Tree Counseling Associates, and we're going to be talking today on the subject of your marriage counselor is your tour guide out of relationship hell. I know that sounds a little bit dark, but if you've been in a relationship or a marriage for a long time, you are going to go through some hell, and it's going to be very, very painful. And a really talented marriage counselor is exactly that. They're your tour guide out of hell. So I have this couple that I've been working with, and they're engaged and they're going to be married very soon, and they came in this week and they were down. I had this junior high football coach. He says, don't get your daubers down. I have no idea what a dauber is, but you didn't want to get it down. It meant don't be discouraged. So this fella comes in and he looks all sad and his dauber was down, and he just says it just hurts too much, to do the work, because what happens is her childhood wounds get triggered by his childhood wounds get triggered by her childhood wounds. So they suggested that they take a break for a while because they wanted to be happy on wedding day. And I said, by all means, take a break. Accentuate the positive for a while. Try not to get into any ugly fights, and I support that fully. And just get back to me, at least by the first of the year, and we'll resume the work that really needs to be done. That'll bite you in the butt if you don't do it down the road. So it was actually his comment. He said, going through this is like hell. And I said, well, I'm your tour guide out of here, buddy. So let me go through this. Relationships generally begin in heaven, what we here call enmeshment. It's when two people's souls bond very powerfully and very deeply. It's what we in our culture call falling in love. It's what all the songs on the radio are about. It's what a lot of really great poetry is about. The problem with enmeshment, as wonderful as it is, you don't fight. You see this person as completing you. You have great sex. It's like a dream come true. The problem is, it doesn't last. It does not last. I've joked that I don't think I can sit through a wedding of some 23-year-old where they're up there talking about everlasting unconditional love, because it's horse crap. They don't talk about how hard it's going to be, and the pain that's going to come about from it, and how much it's just hard work. So enmeshment will always give way to what we call emotional cutoff, and that is the stereotypical emotional cutoff is a couple slowly drifting apart over about 7 to 10 years. It's imperceptible. You don't even know that it's even happening. You have children. You get a mortgage. You're both working. You have fights. You don't resolve the fights. You're drifting apart. Another child. And then 7 to 10 years later, you wake up and say, who are you? I don't feel close to you. I don't want to have sex with you because I don't feel close. So that's what happens, and that's when we see couples. We see couples anywhere from year about, stereotypically year about 7 to 10 all the way up to year 35. So when people are in emotional cutoff, it's a dangerous place to be. That's why many people have affairs, because their needs aren't being met, and there's a big empty hole where that other person used to be. So, with every couple, there's a bomb that's ticking. And sometimes the bombs go off even before you get married, and sometimes the bomb doesn't go off for 30 years. But you married this person not because they're great at meeting your needs. You married them because they suck at it. Because that's what marriage is. We have this internal radar that will draw you to exactly the right person, who is basically a hidden collection of your parents' worst and most irritating qualities. That's what love is. That's what marriage is. Don't let anybody tell you any different. And if you'll objectively make a list of former boyfriends, girlfriends, former spouses, and your mom and dad, or step-parents if there were, you will see some very startling patterns in those lists. So I want to share 4 things about relationship hell. Number 1, it's inevitable. Everybody, when I say everybody, I mean 99% of the population, because we're all pretty darn dysfunctional. There might be a small percentage out there that are pretty emotionally healthy and manage to marry somebody pretty healthy, but most of us are pretty broken. If you're going to do a family tree, a background, what we call a genogram, on anybody you know, you're going to come up with a whole bunch of broken, dysfunctional stuff. Divorce, addiction, suicide, early death, alcoholism, rage, favoritism. You're going to, critical parents, controlling parents, you're going to run into that stuff. So, emotional hell, relationship hell, is inevitable for virtually all of us. Number 2, the emotional pain that you're feeling, the emotional hell you're going through, is not your spouse's fault. You recruited them because in your heart of hearts you knew who they were. You recruited them to be who they are. You recruited them to do it to you. So you did it to yourself. The inevitable emotional hell that you're going through is meant for your growth, and it's a good thing. And don't be bitter. Bitterness and a sense of victimization is cancer. The 3rd thing, hell makes you available and forces you to work on your unresolved family of origin wounds. Marriage makes you work, because getting divorced is hard to do. It's painful, it's costly in every respect. When you get divorced, you lose a chunk of yourself that you'll never get back. And I just always encourage couples to do everything they possibly can to not only salvage their marriage, but develop it into something that's workable and something that's a good thing, that makes them happy. But your emotional hell is meant to make you do work on yourself. That's why people come to therapy. They don't come to therapy and say, I'm reflecting upon my faults and my issues and I want to fix them. No, they come to therapy because they're saying, my wife kicked me out of the house because she thinks I'm a jerk. You know. So, and then the 4th thing, really emotional hell is a blessing. Emotional hell, relationship hell, is a blessing. I can't tell you how many times, how many couples I've had where the couple comes in and they do a lot of work, and this is in the case of affairs, and they'll get to the end of it and they'll say, you know what, Mark, I wouldn't wish this on anybody, and I wish it wouldn't have happened, but the truth is it's probably the best thing that ever happened to our marriage. because we learned so much. We both did work on healing our childhood wounds. We have a deeper, more connected relationship than we ever did. None of it would have happened without that affair. So relationship pain, relationship hell can be, if you look at it right, a very much so, a very rich blessing. So what you're looking for as your therapist guides you through the process, I call it from a scriptural perspective, from Proverbs, walking through the valley of the shadow of death. And God is holding you by the hand, and a really talented therapist could be holding your other hand and walking you through the pain and walking you through the process of getting healthier, learning how to really understand your spouse, learning how to really see them, learning how to really hear them, learning how to really connect with them, learning how to respect them, and command respect yourself. So what you're looking for is something that's workable, something that is still going to have little windows of hell. Don't fool yourself. You're always going to have, a few windows of hell in your relationship, but as you do the work, there's more windows of heaven. So, workable, more windows of heaven, but there are still going to be some windows of hell. That's about as good as it gets. And that's if you have that, you have a marriage that's better than 95% of the marriages out there. So, do the work. If you're not happy with your marriage, your spouse doesn't have to come. Get into therapy, read books on recovery, cry tears about the wounds from your childhood, learn how those pre-fit you, pre-set you to pick the kind of person that you picked. Don't be a victim, shift out of victim mentality, and become a healthy person yourself. That in turn will spill over on your spouse. It will make impact. They at that point would be willing to come in because they don't want to get divorced, and they'll know you'll fire them. If they don't get better, if they don't meet your needs, if they don't become healthy, they too can be fired. So then they'll get involved, and what we're looking for is a humble, broken, teachable, trusting spirit. And if you get me two people with those qualities and give us 2 or 3 years to really dig in and do work on therapy, you can build a really solid, workable marriage with more windows of heaven than there are some lingering windows of hell. So that's what I wish for you. We're available. You can contact us from our website, familytreecounseling.com. If you'd like to contact me, you can call me at 317-507-8866. So if you're in hell, we got tour guides available. I just went on vacation up at Mackinac Island, and we rented and we got on one of those buggy trips, horse and buggy, and they drove us all around the island, and they had so much factual information that I wouldn't have otherwise known. I could have walked around the island without a tour guide, and I wouldn't have learned much, and I probably would have got lost, and I probably would have been discouraged. But those tour guides knew that island like the back of their hand. One of them was like 8th generation of families that have been up there. So the better the tour guide, the less confusion and the more knowledge, and the better the trip. So what I experienced there was beautiful weather, enjoying being around the horses, and just a wonderful, memorable trip. And that's what I want your marriage to be, a wonderful, memorable trip, but you got to get yourself a tour guide. We're available. Reach out to us. We can help you. All right. Thanks for watching.